Brandon Benefield, Gerard Bonner, and Diana Michelle.
What's going on, everybody? It's that time of the week. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for your favorite podcast. This is Our Wrestling. It's SHW's official podcast. I'm B-Double Brandon Benefield. Of course, as always, joined by the great GB Gerard Bonner and the lovely Diana Michelle. You guys, we are 1 week removed from what was an absolutely insane night at SHW73. We're going to get all into it. First of all, good to see y'all again. How's everybody doing? How's your week going? Everybody good?
It's going. I'm excited about having the weekend off, actually, for the first time in a long time. I can't remember the last time I had a full weekend off. So I'm ready. I'm ready for a little bit of rest.
That's what happens when you're in demand as the 5-time ring announcer of the year. I mean,
I'm not going to complain a little bit, but a little downtime here and there is not going to be shunned. I promise you that.
For sure. For sure. Good stuff. No, I'm good. It's been a good week, and I'm still vibing off of the show, which is these shows are wild. They are wild. And just when you think, oh, this might be a calm night, not exactly.
No, not so much. We said it before the show, during the show, after the show. I mean, it ended up being twists and turns, a night of emotions all over the place. You had big exciting things that had everybody smiling and cheering, and then the carpet would get pulled out from underneath us, and then all of a sudden it was like, what just happened? There were multiple things throughout the night that left us with our jaws on the floor. But let's just start from the top here. We also knew going into the night it was going to be the beginning of the road to the Rumble Jack. We had a couple of big Rumble Jack qualifier matches, and starting out the night, we saw Byron Young returning after he had debuted the month prior, taking on Hollywood Hunter James, and talk about people being shocked. I think this is how we started the show here, was with a big shock. And that's not a knock at all to Byron Young, but I think a lot of people just kind of assumed, and you know what happens when you assume sometimes. They assumed that Hollywood Hunter James would punch his ticket into the Rumble Jack and win the match, but that wasn't the case. So what did you think now that we got to see an official singles debut for Byron Young?
I think he's a work in progress, honestly. I mean, nothing negative to say about him, but shocker, understatement, because we all know how good Hunter James is. We all know that he's smooth. He has the moves. He has the acrobats. He's fast. He's good. And to lose this match to Byron Young the way he did was, I'm still in disbelief. I'm trying to remember where it all turned, how it happened, because it's like that shouldn't have happened. But, congrats to Byron Young and his advancement into the Rumble Jack. I mean, it's not very often that you get a debut singles match and you get shot right into the Rumble Jack. That's huge.
Yeah, these are the things that we talked about on the podcast before. And I think sometimes when we talk on the podcast, I wonder if our listeners think it's just hyperbole. Oh, they're just trying to present an even playing field. Listen to me. Every time you get an opportunity to shine, you need to shine. And I think what Byron Young proved is, again, how unpredictable Southern Honor can be, and how if you pick your spot at just the right time, you can make history and you can literally launch into the stratosphere. So, I mean, take Byron Young. Go back to SHW72. He decides to randomly answer the call for the tag team invitational, as the tag team champions just said, hey, open challenge, anybody show up. He said, look, I want to get on the card. He teams with somebody who's not his normal tag partner. They last for less than 90 seconds. I mean, so you don't get an idea of who Byron Young is. And so what I think happened is Hollywood Hunter James, and we saw this during the match, Hollywood Hunter James really took Byron Young for granted. He just figured, oh, I've got this. I'm playing with my food. Of course, I'm going to win this match. And so he figured there's no way Byron Young is going to pin me. Well, Byron Young didn't need to pin him because a count out, a DQ, it all counts the same when you're talking about entry into the Rumble Jack. So Byron Young catches Hollywood Hunter James slipping. Byron Young wins by count out. And there are two massive stories that come out of this. One, you have Byron Young, who has the opportunity of a lifetime, the first official person to qualify for the Rumble Jack, which is massive. That's a statement we didn't think we'd make. The second headline, obviously, is Byron Young beats Hunter James. Whoever thought we'd say that? But here's the other thing. What is the path for Hollywood Hunter James to get into the Rumble Jack? He's had quite the year. You know, you go back to December where he did not win the number one contenders match for the SHW championship. Then he gets into the scramble last month, not the scramble, the gauntlet match last month, is down to the last two to regain the Jake the Snake Legacy title, and he misses out on that, so he's not number one contender. This is another door closed for Hollywood Hunter James. What is he going to do to get back into title contention? Because now all of the titles have to be out of his grasp, and that's got to be frustrating for the former male performer of the year. This is an interesting time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I you know, we were wondering that after the match was over. It's like you said, I mean, he's a former Jake the Snake Legacy champion. He's made his name all over the Southeast. He's holding titles in other promotions, you know, and it's hard for me to not see him in the Rumble Jack. And so, you know, will there be another opportunity in the next couple of months for him to be able to make his way into that matchup? We'll find out in the months ahead. But
I'll say one other thing. What's dangerous to me about this for Hollywood Hunter James is it's likely that he's not going to get an easier opportunity to get into the Rumble Jack.
Right.
This was the easiest path possible over a virtual unknown. So now every potential path to get in is going to be much more difficult, which is actually kind of frightening when you think about that.
Yeah.
But I also think it says a lot about his character and his ability to take advantage of every single inkling of an opportunity. And who better that could do that than Hunter James? I mean, we've all seen it. He makes his way. He makes his way somehow. And he doesn't even have to do it with Tristan Michaels.
Well, maybe that's the issue. There was no Tristan Michaels.
There was no Tristan Michaels.
There was no Tristan Michaels this past Friday. There wasn't Tristan Michaels during the gauntlet match. Could Tristan Michaels really be the key to the success of Hollywood Hunter James? I mean, it was Tristan Michaels who negotiated the whole stipulations that caused Hollywood Hunter James to win the Jake the Snake Legacy Championship in the first place, which he won, ironically, by disqualification. So maybe the missing link here is Tristan James when it comes to Tristan Michaels. Yeah. When it comes to Hollywood Hunter James.
We just throw them all together.
Just put them all together. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what's ahead there for Hollywood as the Rumble Jack approaches coming up in August. But moving on down the card, we saw a much anticipated grudge match stemming off of the month before with the big cannoli, Rosario Grillo, going one-on-one with the blue-collar rock star, that being A.A. Ron Dallas. And a very solid back-and-forth matchup. I think everybody was excited for it. We were definitely looking forward to it. Not necessarily the outcome that I think the fans were expecting, but just like the first match of the night, you just never know what's going to happen at any given time on any given show in Southern Honor Wrestling. One thing I will say is that Aaron Dallas's brother, of course, the fan base was out in full force as always. The Aaron Dallas fan club, whatever you want to call him. Does he have a name for his peeps? We need to figure that out. Ask him if he's got a name for like his. I don't know. We'll think of something.
I don't know what we call them yet.
We'll think of something. But he's got to have. I feel like they need to have like a name. His entourage. But his brother was watching from the front row.
Yeah.
And after the matchup, we weren't sure at first who it was because from our angle, we didn't have, I don't know if the camera was over there, but we couldn't really tell. It just looked like a fan started to shove Rosario Grillo, and I thought, oh no, here we go. That's not good. And then Grillo,
I wasn't sure. I was right in front of that. So when he started shoving him, I was like, who is this? And then he yells out, "That's my brother."
Ah, okay. See, we couldn't hear it from our seats. That's what it
Okay,
was.
yeah, we couldn't
I
hear
was
that.
able to hear that personally, but
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy crap! Is this Aaron's brother? Where's Aaron?" He just took off to the back. So, yikes!
So is Ethan, I think's his name.
Yeah,
And
Ethan.
he gets yanked over the guardrail and then attacked by Grillo. Although here's the thing, I'm not defending Grillo by any means, but
But
when somebody on the other side of the guardrail instigates it, at that point, all
fair
bets are
game.
off. I mean, so
We've seen it time and time again. That is not something you need to be doing.
right. So I wouldn't recommend anybody that's on the other side of the guardrail, sitting where the fans are sitting. Don't put your hands on the wrestlers.
Don't touch the wrestlers.
Again, not saying what Grillo did was right, but I'm also not excusing what Aaron's brother did either. So, anyways, it was a great matchup. You guys, your thoughts on the match, and then your thoughts on the outcome of the match, because I think, like I said, a lot of people were kind of surprised about the outcome.
Well, personally, I love the vibe that Aaron Dallas brings to the ring. I love the atmosphere that follows him, and it just fills the whole room, and it's so exciting. But he has to be careful not to get swept up in that, because it's very easy, to go along with your fans, hey, Aaron, yeet, whatever, and just forget about what is your purpose there. What are you doing in this ring? You're about to face this guy who knocked you out of the gauntlet in an opportunity for the Jake the Snake Legacy title, and you can't get washed up in all the excitement, everybody cheering you on. You got to get down to business. And I think even though he did he had a good match up until the end, but you got to get out of your head. You got to get out of yourself and take care of business. And Rosario Grillo, the big cannoli, he had a game plan. He was going to win come hell or high water, no matter if it was dirty or not. So I think he did his thing.
Yeah, you said something that I think is pivotal. And one of the things that you said is that the focus factor for Aaron Dallas. I think one of the beautiful parts about pro wrestling is one of the great sitcoms of all times is Cheers, and it had one of the greatest theme songs of all times. Don't you want to go where everybody knows your name? Absolutely. And I think that's where Aaron Dallas is. Like, he wants to go where everybody knows his name. And whenever he walks into the action building, the people, some of the loudest cheers you will hear all night are for Aaron Dallas. And sometimes that can be intoxicating, much like Cheers Bar. It can be intoxicating where you're sitting there and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm around friends and family and this is amazing. Exactly. When you go to the bar, your goal is to meet the people, not in a wrestling match and not at Southern Honor. The goal is to win. And I think for the last few months, this has been the paradox of Aaron Dallas, where yes, he's finally got the people behind him and he didn't have to work too hard to do it. But is that translating into wins? And I think that could be his Achilles heel. Meanwhile, you have Rosario Grillo, who, here's a story that honestly is writing itself, whether we realize it or not. This man first showed up in Southern Honor back at Still Here 3 in our very first pre-show match. Ironically, he was in a tag team match against another team. We call them the Infantry, right? Amazing the difference a few years can make. Right. The Infantry right now are tag team champions for well over 200 days. We'll talk about them in a little bit. All over the wrestling world and AEW and Ring of Honor. Rosario Grillo had a different trail, a different path. He ran into injury. The injury took about a year or so off of his career. He's moved out of a tag team space. And now, believe it or not, this is his first one-on-one singles match in Southern Honor. Think about this. He first showed up in 2021, October of 2021, and it's not until May of 2025 that he gets his first singles match. You think the guy's not hungry? Oh, he's starving. And he proved that Friday night. He was not concerned about if the people were yelling his name, if they were yelling yeet or anything else. He had one goal, and he didn't care if the referee got in the way. He was going to find his way to win. And so the people may not like the results, but this is the difference between being hungry and being satisfied. And this is not a knock to Aaron Dallas, but it feels to me like Aaron Dallas is satisfied by getting the cheers from the crowd. If he walks in on a good night and gets Ron, he's good. He can go home. Right. Not Rosario Grillo. And that's what happens when it takes you 3.5 years, almost 4 years, to get your first singles match on the biggest promotion in the Southeast. You fight different, you train different, you handle the moment different. And that's what Rosario Grillo did. That's why he's the big cannoli. And that's why we're talking about him now in a big win over Aaron Dallas.
Right.
Couldn't have said it better. Absolutely nailed it. Before the next matchup here, there was a couple of things that happened. We saw a promo from Alex Kane where obviously the war of words between himself and CT Keys continues. And then right after that, we saw Nathan Mowry come out, the Killbilly, to promote the SVN show, which is happening tomorrow night, May 17th, in the Action Building, the home of Southern Honor Wrestling. Doors are at 7, bell time at 8. The Killbilly will be on that show with the Coven of the Goat himself and Tank, of course, going up against the Hate Club featuring deathmatch legend Nick Gage. So go check that show out tomorrow night. Support our hometown Killbilly, Nathan Mowry. However, he did that promo directly after the Alex Kane promo that we saw, which prompted CT Keys to make his way out to the stage, clearly irritated by what he had just heard from Alex Kane, and decided to take out that frustration on the Killbilly, who, poor Nathan, was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He had set up, I guess he was setting up a little deathmatch demonstration. He set up a table with some light tubes. I don't know what he was anticipating was going to happen with that setup. I don't think he expected what did happen, which was CT Keys 2 Uranagis on the stage and then one off of the stage through the table, through the light tubes. It was gruesome. He got all sliced up. Nathan did, heading into his big death match coming up tomorrow night. But rewind just a second, you guys, your take on what Alex Kane said and then what happened and transpired there with CT and the Killbilly. Your thoughts?
G, take this one, G.
Alex Kane, I love what I'm seeing developing between Alex Kane and CT Keys. It started several months ago with that face-off. Man, take all my money with that. Yeah, you hit it right there. With the face-off, it was just like, this is crazy. And they kept just kind of moving past each other, and occasionally they'd almost get into a battle. Of course, CT Keys was very angry when Alex Kane gets a shot at the SHW championship and CT Keys doesn't. So what does he do? He says, I'll challenge any former Southern Honor champion. And he ends up getting not just a former Southern Honor champion, but a former IWTV world champion in Cruel. And he did what nobody could do in 3 years. Pinned him. Yeah. Crazy. So naturally, he's got a chip on his shoulder. But Alex Kane really kind of ruffled the feathers of CT Keys. Kane wasn't in the building. CT Keys just walked out. And again, wrong place, wrong time. And the problem with the Killbilly, if there is a problem, is he doesn't walk away from anything.
No.
He just doesn't. He's not like a, hey, No. He's standing there like, look, what's the problem? What's the issue? And well, CT's not known for being extremely verbose. He does all of his talking with his hands, with his fists, with his muscles. So if that is an indicator of what we're going to get with him and Alex Kane, I believe the great Big E said it's big meaty men slapping meat. And it's going to be a thing whenever that happens. And I think whenever it does, we probably need to, secure the ring, secure Canton, because I don't know that the city's going to be able to handle this one.
The build of this whole match that's soon to happen, whenever it happens, is just, it's intoxicating. It's like you can feel it, and you can feel how big it's going to be, literally how big it's going to be. And it's so exciting. This is one of them that I've been looking forward to for so. If I can just get that triple threat. With Joe and Alex and CT, that would be it for me. But we'll take this one too. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this one because it is big meaty men just getting on it. I love it. I'm ready for this one.
Well, we're gonna get another little piece of that next month. We'll get to that in a minute
Yes.
because here's the thing: that would not be the last we would see of CT Keys
No.
on Friday night, last Friday night. So we'll get to that here in just a little bit when we get to the main event.
I'm getting on my tidbits, but
man, oh man, yeah, like you said, GB too. Like when it, however many months ago it was when they first kind of crossed paths. And I remember you and me and Sal sitting there at the commentary table, just like chills, man. We're like, oh man, take my money. Take my money now. So at some point, you know it's going to happen. It won't be next month because, like I said, we'll talk about the match that was announced for next month here in just a little bit. Well, who knows? People have had more than one match in one night. Maybe it does happen next month. I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyways,
who knows?
We'll get there in a minute. But let's get to this next matchup. Match 3. We're only at match 3. I feel like we've talked about so much.
Right.
It was another Rumblejack qualifier. The Kenway this time facing off against Joey Hyder. Hyder making his return to Southern Honor Wrestling. And again, much like match number 1, this one with a lot riding on it, a shot into the Rumblejack match. It was not Joey Hyder's night. Kenway came out on top. It was a great one-on-one matchup. And we talked about, though, GB, you even said, what happens with Kenway here if he doesn't win this match? It's kind of a must-win situation for him coming off of a rough couple of months. So, you guys, thoughts on this one?
I like Hyder.
Yeah.
I do. I like him. He's got something. I don't know that we at Southern Honor have really tapped into it yet, but I want to see him back. Maybe even another chance at the Rumblejack. I'd love to see that. Thank God Kenway finally won one. Thank God. But I'm so glad Kenway finally.
What was that face?
I felt bad for saying that because I've been like, man, we're struggling, Kenway. We're struggling. We need to get a W in your column, like, quick. Because, I mean, are you taking them for the team? I don't know. But I felt like we've been going the opposite direction that we should be going with the hierarchy.
Real quick, I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm gonna let you finish.
But real quick, because you made that face, I just want you to know, Diana, did you hear what Gunner yelled at me and GB the other night?
I was gonna get to that. Diana is getting us heat, man.
We'll get to it, but I just want to say,
we're gonna get to it
because of things that you say, we're getting yelled at.
Yes.
So
I'm not getting yelled at.
Just know by you making that face, I don't know what it meant, but now we're gonna get yelled at.
That's why I was like, oh boy.
It was just the face I made was because the words came out of my mouth. It sounded like I didn't.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. Yes, I do.
But you also know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I just put that other. You can finish your thought. We'll get to the Gunner stuff in a minute, but
I'm just gonna say once again, I am glad Kenway come around with a win this time. Point blank. Period. Done. That's all I can say.
So, coming into this match, we definitely said that it was a must-win for Kenway, and it's a must-win just because, after all that he's gone through with the hierarchy and Austin Towers, it had to be difficult to go face Murder One and Joe Black with an L. That had to be very, very difficult. And, to be known as the Infinity Stone of the hierarchy, it just seems like you don't want to continue to take L's. Given the way that night was going, I certainly thought it was a strong possibility that Kenway could go the same way as Hollywood Hunter James. Because you could make the argument that we knew a little bit more about Joey Hyder. Hyder has been with us, obviously, before in a couple of singles competitions, and he looked really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good. So, it was a very realistic possibility that Joey Hyder, with the way things were going Friday night, he could be the one to pop into the Rumblejack and leave, again, Kenway on the outside looking in. Kenway had gone onto the socials prior to the match and had already said, hey, look, when I get into the Rumblejack and I win, I'm going after the Jake the Snake Legacy Championship, which we wondered, which title would he go after? Would he go after the SHW championship if he got in? Would he go after the tag titles? But he's already staked his claim, and we understand why he'd go after the Jake the Snake Legacy Championship. But to get there, he had to get past Joey Hyder. And I'll tell you this, I'm with you, Diana. Joey Hyder, I think, deserves a spot on our roster. I think he's the kind of wrestler people love to come and see. He's in a great space in his career, and I think that he'd be an amazing addition to the roster. And I'll just put it out there. We're eventually going to have a conversation about the Jake the Snake Legacy Championship. He's a guy who I'd love to see in the running compete for that.
Yeah,
He's that kind of a wrestler. But shout out to Kenway, who picked up his winning ways in a very important match. Now he gets to punch his ticket into the Rumble Jack, and he's got a little bit of time to try to figure out what his strategy is going to be to see if he can be the second member of the hierarchy to win the Rumble Jack match.
This next one on the card, I mean, a lot of these matches on the card last Friday had a lot of buzz, had a lot of people talking. But this next one in particular, I think, had perhaps the most buzz. It was Sunny Days taking on Matt Griffin, Gunnar Miller handcuffed to the ring, Sal Rinauro, special guest referee. Sal, a couple of months back, was named the decision maker in Southern Honor Wrestling by Jake the Snake Roberts, who is our matchmaker, because Jake the Snake can't be at every show. And so he kind of needed somebody to be at the shows to, make decisions when needed, at the drop of the hat if need be. Well, that's where Sal comes into play. Sal made this matchup the month before, and not only did he make the matchup, he seemingly made it where all the cards were stacked against Matt Griffin, and it had us all salivating. We were all excited to see Matt Griffin finally get some comeuppance, it
was a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, finally get what he had coming to him. Well, if you were there Friday, you know that didn't turn out the way we all hoped that it would. Also, to pull back the curtain just a little bit, Dylan Freimeyer has a little puppy dog named Juju, okay? Almost 2 years ago, that dog went missing. Last month, just after SHW73, the very next day, as a matter of fact, Dylan gets a phone call. Somebody had found his dog. Nearly 2 years that little dog had been missing. But he had a little chip, right? So somebody found him, got the chip scanned. Dylan found his dog. It went viral. It was all over the news. I think even the national media picked it up. I mean, it was a big story. Had everybody talking about it. What was really exciting for us is we get to the shows early. We get to hang out, kind of mingle with everybody, get ready for the show. Well, when Juju was still around 2 years ago, Juju would always come to the shows. You'd see Juju running around backstage and hanging out. And so Juju was back. Everybody was excited to see Juju, right? So we knew that going into it. On top of the match, Miss Faye was sitting in the front row with Juju, right? This scumbag, Matt Griffin, after all was said and done, and if you guys want to get into details about what happened during the match, we can. But if not, you can just go and watch it on IWTV, because it was a really entertaining match up until the ending. But this scumbag, this piece of human garbage, Matt Griffin, went and snatched Juju out of Miss Faye's hands, took the dog, kidnapped the dog. And then him and Gunnar are up on stage, kissing the dog, and then they start posting pictures with the dog on social media, as if they're the new they're like, we're new dog dads or whatever. Like
the dog fathers.
Sickening, absolutely sickening. And you have Sunny Days, who finally gets his dog back after 2 years, only to turn around a couple of weeks later and have that piece of garbage, Matt Griffin, steal his dog. I said this the other night. It's one thing to hit somebody with a car. Been there, done that. It's not cool. It's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother level of sick in the head to take a man's dog.
Yeah, that's pretty.
How dare you? I mean, it's just sickening. It's just sickening. I don't know a better word for it. But yeah, it didn't go the way we thought it would. Matt Griffin would end up getting the win. Plenty of shenanigans involved. But the way it ended, taking Juju like that. So hashtag save Juju. We got to figure out how to get Juju back. I don't know. I haven't heard anything since last Friday as far as where the dog's at. I don't know that Dylan's gotten the dog back. Anyways, we'll keep you guys posted. As soon as we hear anything, we'll let you know. But you guys, your thoughts on the entire situation?
T.
You know, it first of all, I think we have a major klepto issue here in Southern Honor. Whether it's people stealing tag titles that don't belong to them, now people are stealing dogs that don't belong to them. You know, in terms of a matchmaker, maybe we need a judge and jury here in Southern Honor because, you know, not only are people stealing these things, but they can't find a way to, there's no authority to get these missing items or stolen items back to their original owners. That's one thing. Here's the thing, and I said it here on this podcast, I was concerned because I wondered, it seemed like there were so many boxes checked to make sure everything was done to make sure that Matt Griffin did not have any degree of an advantage. What would they think of to possibly do? Somehow Gunnar got his hands on the key. And once he got his hands on the key to the handcuffs, got unlocked, started doing some pretty crazy things. Gunnar, if you follow him at all on the socials, posted a video of, he had those sunglasses on where he was recording as he speared Sunny Days. He wasn't even supposed to be able to do that because he's supposed to be handcuffed to the ring. You said a lot about the situation with Juju, and I think, you know, it's not just the stealing of the dog. It's the fact that the dog was missing and almost presumed dead. Because if a dog that size doesn't show up in 2 years, you not only do you think somebody took them, but how would they survive? I mean, this is not a big guard dog here. So how would Juju survive? So for Juju to be returned, it's, you know, it's literally when you thought you have lost something forever and it returns, you value it, you treasure it, and then someone, you know, hits you in a low space. It's crazy. But I want to talk, and Diane, I'll hand off to you, but I want to talk about Gunnar Miller. Because Gunnar Miller, in the middle of all of this, comes over with threatening words to us. Now, I don't know what's going on in the wrestling industry right now. Gunther's over here, you know, beating up Michael Cole, not letting him have his own opinion. Now Gunnar, who maybe thinks he's Gunther, feels the same way and comes over to us and is mad about, you know, someone on the podcast saying, you know, oh, I only have one move. Oh, I only have one move. I only need one move. Well, you know, I think it's a problem.
5 last time.
You're not helping.
I'm sorry.
I think the problem is this, because, you know, we're here to do our jobs, right? And our job, obviously, is to call the action here in this podcast. And of course, in commentary, is to paint a picture, but to also share our own feelings.
Right.
Now, we, Brandon and I, never specifically said you only did one move, Gunnar, but, you know, you're not going to get in Diana's face. I hope you're at least that much of a gentleman not to do that. But here's the thing. If you don't like us saying that you only do one move, do more. Do more. But I think here's the bigger thing. Go back to being the honorable person that won the SHW championship, right? You've eliminated Gary Lamb from the Southern Honor picture. Okay, maybe Gary did you wrong. I don't have all the details in terms of what happened between you guys. What I can say is if the object of your anger is no longer here, then there's no need for you to take it out on the rest of the roster. Go ahead, be the Gunnar Miller that won the SHW championship. You don't have to threaten us. We're not trying to get in the ring with you. You should figure out what it is that you want to do. Do you want to become the SHW champion? Do you want to run the company? Now, if you want to talk to us about something, talk to us about that, because that's what we had questions about.
Yeah, the
is
focus.
that what you want to do?
That's always
figure
been
out what
question.
you want to do. We aren't your focus. I have no desire to get in the ring with you. I have no desire to go toe-to-toe with you. None at all. I respect what you do, etc. But figure out, okay, are you interested in being the SHW champion like we know you can be? Are you interested in being the general manager, the real GM of Southern Honor? Or are you just the hitman for Matt Griffin? Are you the one doing his dirty work? I thought you were bigger than that. I thought you were better than that. Aren't you the working team captain? Don't you have all these muscles and all this stuff? We're not your focus. Figure out what your focus is and point your attention there.
Maybe choose your company a little bit better. You already know Matt Griffin's sleaze. So, you know, you are who you hang with. That's what we were always taught growing up, right? You are who you hang with. I mean, you've got kids to be an example for. That's a big thing. That's something to think about. So maybe ditch the penguin and be the man.
Kingpin or penguin, yeah.
Penguin.
Yeah. Dingbat, I think.
I forget what Rob Rock called him.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask one question. What happens to Southern Honor now that Matt Griffin has defeated Sunny Days?
See, that's been kind of what we've been trying to avoid talking about ever since last Friday, because nobody really wants to think about what does this mean for the future of the company. Gary's gone. You know, Matt Griffin defeated Sunny Days. What's next? The way the match ended, of course, was with both Sunny Days and Sauronaro laid out in the ring as they celebrated and gloated up on the stage, they being Griffin and Gunner. Yeah, what happens from here? Time will tell. Hopefully we'll find out in the next few weeks heading into SHW74, which will be on June 6th in just a couple weeks. But anyways, before any more is said that's going to get us in any more trouble, let's move on to the next match.
I apologize, guys.
Hey, it's all
but
good.
Sorry, not sorry.
How's that an apology?
Yeah.
I'm sorry you guys got the heat from my mouth, but sorry, not sorry.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry. I'm sorry for you guys. I'm not sorry for what I said.
Oh, okay. Well,
hopefully he doesn't spear us through a table.
Oh, don't even.
I would never
don't put it
allow
out
that.
there.
I would gladly put myself between you guys.
Oh,
gladly.
We're not gonna let it happen to you either.
You can't let that happen. Like,
you know who's totally do it.
But you know who's been through one? Zach, the gear guy. So
yeah, he'd do
that
it.
guy.
He'll protect us.
He would do it.
All right.
Right.
Match number 5. Let's move on to the card. Back to the card.
Well, before the match.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
5, we had that video.
Oh,
we had that crazy video.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Wow.
And I have some thoughts on that, and I probably should not share right now, and I probably won't share right now. But
wait, was it before or after match 5?
It was before.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's talk about it real quick then. You're talking about Chip Day, correct? Yes.
Yes.
So we haven't seen Chip Day in quite some time.
Too long.
We know he's been dealing with injuries and whatnot, but we see a video where we've heard that he's been training, getting ready for a big comeback. We're all kind of excited about it. We see this video. I'm still not sure what to make of it. It almost looked like, from the perspective of somebody who's watching him secretly, stalking him, whatever you want to call it. But then the way the video ended,
he got put in his trunk.
I was going to say, did it look like somebody kidnapped him?
Somebody put him in his own trunk and drove his own car off with him in his own trunk.
We're talking about, kidnapping a dog. Let's talk about kidnapping a person here.
That's crazy. We got too much going on.
That's what it appeared. And there was nothing said in the video. This is all just what we were seeing. So I don't know what to make of it. Yeah, I don't. Do you have any thoughts on this? I don't know where it goes from here.
The guy didn't look like a stranger. Let me just put it that way. To me, he did not look like a stranger.
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
He looked familiar.
I didn't get a
To
good
me,
look.
I didn't get to see
I
who
mean,
it
you
looked
guys were
like.
looking over your shoulder trying to watch the screen, so you probably
Yeah.
didn't get a good look. But it was chip day. I was zoomed in. I wanted to see what was going on with my dude. The figure of the person who threw him into the trunk and who was following him around inside that gym looked very familiar.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go
You know,
back and watch IWTV.
yeah,
because
I need to watch it again because I
yeah,
don't recall seeing a figure. I
He
recall
just
seeing
he had a hood
someone
on.
filming him.
He had a hood
okay,
But
on. You
okay.
could see him. He had a hood on. It was you could see you have to watch it again. Watch it again.
Okay, more reason for you guys to go back and watch it on IWTV, just like us.
Tell me what you think
Exactly.
when you do. Tell me what
Yeah.
you think.
Drop your comments.
Wow.
Let us know what you guys
Wow.
think. Anyways,
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
And I don't know
Yeah.
any inside stuff. I'm just telling you what I think.
yeah. All right.
Inside or outside, no place seems to be safe around SHW.
I'm telling you. I mean, can we
you
get the
know,
man back into SHW before we take him out again? Come on.
well, I mean, whoever this is doesn't want that to happen. And
That's my point.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's we got to keep our eyes on this one because I'm very interested in seeing the return of Chip Day.
Yeah.
But there's some force out there that doesn't want that to happen clearly,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know why.
Yeah. You mentioned, you touched on it briefly a little earlier about the tag titles that were stolen.
Yes.
Of course, they were stolen by Adrian Alanis, Liam Gray, the Skulk. Well, we see one half of that team, Adrian Alanis, going one-on-one with the true tag team champion, one half of the infantry, that being Carly Bravo. So we knew we had a good singles grudge match, a whole lot of animosity built up over the last few months, stemming from the fact that they stole those title belts. But on a more positive note, we also got a debut of young Kingston, a.k.a. King Bravo.
King Bravo.
Who
Yeah.
not only did he make his managerial debut the other night, bringing Carly out to the ring,
Yes, sir.
it was also his birthday.
Yes,
What
sir.
what a way to celebrate your birthday
Good looking
than to see
kid.
Dad in singles competition and getting a big win at a Southern Honor Wrestling show.
And getting in the face of Adrian Alanis.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was very, very cool. And by the way, King Bravo, spitting image of Carly Bravo. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I love it.
It was great to see Carly finally get his pound of flesh there. But the question remains, when will they get the actual tag team title belts physically back in their hands?
Where are my belts?
Liam Gray was not in the building. We assume he still has the belts wherever he was. Sean Dean was scheduled somewhere else, so he wasn't able to be there either. But anyways, great match. Great to see young King Bravo make his managerial debut the other night. But you guys, thoughts on this one?
That was a great back and forth match. It was. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Adrian. He is an amazing wrestler. It was really even to me, back and forth. I mean, we can see why these guys are stars. But in the end, Bad News and Tattoos took it home like we knew he would, and I expected nothing less.
The beautiful thing about tag team wrestling is sometimes in tag team wrestling, you are hiding two stars that might be mid-card, average stars who seem to be better together. But in this case, we have stars inside of tag teams. And so it was the return of the Carly Bravo show, the guy who defeated 7 former Southern Honor champions, the latest winner of the Rumble Jack back in 2024. And he reminded us of why he's great on his own or great in a tag team space. Now, we wondered coming into this match, if Adrian Alanis won, would this create some groundwork for the Skulk to perhaps get another crack at the tag team championships? But he didn't win. So for me, I'm sitting going, well, all right, you've lost your tag team title match. You've lost your one-on-one match. Just return the championships at this point, because it's clear you're not ready to hold them. So I would love to know what will be done to get these championships back in the hands of their rightful owners. but a huge win for Carly Bravo. A great night for King Bravo. What a birthday celebration. He'll never forget that, I'm sure, as long as he lives. And again, you wonder now what's next for our tag team champions. Can they actually get their championships back in their possession? That is the question, as it seems like they have to go another month without them, which just does not seem right.
Mm.
Yes.
You know what? We're just going to say this. We're just going to call the skulk, the young boys to the infantry carrying their weight around.
Wow. You remember how I said sometimes you say stuff that we get yelled at for?
That's going to be one. Mm-hmm.
That was one right there.
I wish they would yell at y'all for that. Bring it to me. They don't have any issues bringing their junk to me. I promise you.
I'm just saying. I just want to make it clear for anybody, including
look
them,
at all
that
the
are
weight.
watching.
Look at all the weight and all the gold that Sean and Carly are carrying around. I mean, it gets heavy. I know they're big and strong guys, but it gets heavy. So, I mean, you want to carry my weight? Okay.
GB.
Be where I'm going to be.
GB, you see,
we're not spending enough time in the gym. I mean, just keeps.
She just keeps on digging.
Like, what in the world? Oh, gosh.
Anyways,
man, oh, man. All right.
Like I said before, let's move on before anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next match. Okay.
Sheesh.
All right, we knew, of course, we had two big championship matches.
Yes, we did.
Coming into the night. One being the Jake the Snake Legacy Championship match. Alexander Lev winning that 7-man gauntlet the month before, earning his spot as the #1 contender to take on Kyle Matthews. We knew this was going to be an instant classic.
Mm-hmm.
We basically get a two-parter here, okay? Because the match starts. Grayson Pierce interferes on behalf of Lev, even though Lev didn't want the interference. There's a DQ finish. Kyle Matthews says, "No, I'm not. It's not going to end like that." They restarted the match. We have match 2, part 2. And then Grayson Pierce decides he wants to throw in the towel for Alexander Lev. Lev didn't want that either. I mean, you guys can go into more detail about what exactly happened. GB, once we get to you, if you want to kind of explain what happened at the end there. And then what happened even after that, I don't even want to talk about. You guys can mention it. I'm not even gonna broach it. But anyways, your thoughts on this one and what happened after.
Wow. I would love to see this one run back. Honestly. I mean, every time Lev comes out and does his thing, he gets better and better. He really held his own with Kyle Matthews, which is saying a lot about Lev and his ability and his growth. I don't know what the crap Grayson Pierce is thinking. Lev does not need your help, son. I'm sorry. He does not need your help. He can handle his business on his own. You have done nothing. And obviously he doesn't care now because he attacked Lev at the end. That was crazy. First of all, you want to attack Lev, who's already gone the distance with Joe Black. That's crazy. And then went the distance with Kyle Matthews, and that's crazy. And you just want to, you think you're better, that you can do something with Lev now? Because I don't see this ending well for him at all. Kyle's a true champion. He is a true champion. He didn't want that match ending the way it did. So yeah, let's restart it. Let's do this again. Kick Grayson out. Of course, I feel like Kyle would have won either way, with or without the towel being thrown in. That was ridiculous. I've never seen such craziness in my life. But let's run that one back. Maybe down the road, but let's run that back. I would love to see that again.
So this is where you and I differ, Diana. I'm not sure that Kyle would have necessarily won that match. Lev continues to prove why he is incredible and why he's in the spot that he's in. And I think, one of the things we talked about on commentary in that match was trying to determine what Lev had learned from his match with Joe Black that he could institute here. And I think one of the things that he did was he put his body through different paces to be able to handle going the long term. I mean, think about it. He found himself in a gauntlet match, right? Prior to that, he had an impromptu match with Hollywood Hunter James. He has really tried to keep his wrestling at the top of the card, because when you go into a match with Kyle Matthews, it's a different ball game than Joe Black.
Right.
Two very distinguished wrestlers who bring different things to the table. Joe Black is super strong. He can hit you with almost any style. And, he can submit you.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about a technician and a submission specialist in Kyle Matthews. And Kyle Matthews wasted no time, literally started the match with a submission, paying attention to Lev and could Lev's body hold up. And I think Lev had been preparing himself for that. Grayson Pierce just, this guy.
Find your spot, man. Just find your spot.
Well, I think he did. He picked his spot. And his spot was he was jealous the whole time because he could not curry favor with Alexander Lev. I think he knew that, but he just kept poking the bear until he could figure out where's the moment where I could cost Lev the most. And that's what he chose to do, which I find to be problematic. So 2 quick things I want to mention. One, I am so excited to watch again. We're watching pendulums shift in Southern Honor. We're watching new stars being created. And we're watching now Southern Honor once again become the place where you're going to sit down and get bangers. I mean, all kinds of matches. We're not going to be just a death match space or just a specialty match space. You can get 2 guys who can go at it for 25, 30 minutes. And we got a history of this. I mean, we can go back a couple months to Joe Black's first title defense against Jackson Drake, right? Yeah. We can do that. We can, and I got a whole Joe Black conversation coming up a little bit. But what we're seeing right now is, again, a rising crop of amazing wrestlers hanging out with us here in Southern Honor. That's one thing. The second thing is this match is just showing me that the Jake the Snake Legacy Championship is the Workman's Championship. It is, I think, a perfectly named title. It's a legacy title, and it's for hard workers. It's for great wrestlers, and I think it's the most prestigious new championship created in the last 5 years in all of independent wrestling. Find me another championship that has had the caliber of matches and the caliber of champions that we've seen with the Jake the Snake Legacy Championship. Right. That would then explain my third point. When it felt like, okay, we've got great honor between Lev and our champion, Kyle Matthews. We've gotten Grayson Pierce out of the picture. We're going to celebrate and relish this moment. And literally out of nowhere, Bryce Cannon. I didn't know he was in the building. There was no music. Clearly his leg is much better because he came out of the bat like a bolt of lightning. My son would love this. He looked like Sonic the Hedgehog as fast as he was moving. It was crazy. But my question is, why? Well, it became clear why. He wants to get his hands on the Jake the Snake Legacy Championship. But we've never seen Bryce Cannon in Southern Honor without Exotic Youth. Bryce Cannon as a solo act? Is there more that we need to unpack? And then to literally at the end kind of, have words for Brandon. This is like the nightmare that will never end. And if Bryce Cannon is up next for the Jake the Snake Legacy Championship, we all need to be very, very concerned, because if that man gets a championship in Southern Honor, we think having Matt Griffin around here is bad. Wait until Bryce Cannon potentially becomes a champion around here. It could get extremely unbearable.
What did he say to you, Brandon?
I told you I'm not going to talk about him, so I'm going to move on to the main event. All right.
I'll get with you, JB. I'll get with you, JB.
I understand.
Joe Black, in one of his biggest, both figuratively and literally, biggest challenges to date.
Yes.
The 7-footer, the Chief, Austin Towers, or the Titan Weight, as Joe Black dubbed him. The Titan Weight wanted the Killer Weight back, and Joe Black brought back the Killer Weight. By the way, is there any other entrance in professional wrestling like a Joe Black championship entrance? Always gives you goosebumps, man. I'm telling you. It's
always fresh. It's always relevant. It's always right on time. It's like a word from the Lord himself.
Yeah.
It's great. It is
It
great.
is.
What a way to cap off what was just an absolute insane show, SHW73. This main event lived up to the hype. The crazy thing is pretty much started in the parking lot. Well, the
Hmm.
match didn't even officially start until they finally got in the ring, but they were out there brawling for what, a good 10 minutes or so before the
Yeah.
match officially started. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to go back and watch it on IWTV because where we were sitting, we didn't have any monitors to be able to see what was happening
Hmm.
outside. So we were literally flying blind there, trying to just say whatever was on our mind, trying to
Yeah.
uh, call what we couldn't see there. But
Hmm.
when they finally did get back in the ring, Towers put Joe to the test, man. Put Joe to the test. But it was a great, hard back and forth battle. And Joe Black would eventually go on to retain the Southern Honor Championship. But that wouldn't be the end of the night again. It's like
Mm-mm.
every match, there was something
Mm-mm.
else that happened, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let you guys get to that point. But your thoughts on this great main event matchup?
I think Austin came looking for a piece, and he got a piece. He got his fill, and then he was sent home. Joe Black's a champion. He's a champion for a reason. He is the ultimate Southern Honor champion, and he fought like a champion. He fights like a champion every time he gets in the ring, and no matter who comes at him. And to your point with what happened at the end, I cannot wait. I cannot wait till next month. But yeah, it was a good back and forth. I think tight weight, killer weight. You couldn't ask for a better match between two that seemingly hate each other, but at the time have respect for each other. So yeah, great match. Congratulations to Joe Black for retaining and defending his title once again. And on to the next. Who's next? Who's next?
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe Black, man, we can't say enough about Joe Black and what he's doing in this championship run. Another amazing match. Again, literally his largest physical
Yes.
challenge. And, Austin Towers, again, brought something to the table that we haven't seen Austin Towers bring in his entire tenure at Southern Honor. It was very clear he belonged in the ring against Joe Black. He worked did the work, earned his championship opportunity. But Joe Black is the hill you just can't climb. I mean, he is the Southern Honor champion for a reason. And with that win, now moves into the fourth position for the fourth longest reign as an SHW champion. As of today, 217 days and counting, now surpassing Owen Knight's championship reign at 210 days. And so I posed this question on commentary, but I think this is probably there's probably more opportunity to at least ponder this particular question, and that is this title run of Joe Black's the greatest Southern Honor title run that we've ever seen? Now I know Judias had the longest championship run, but long doesn't necessarily mean great. And so you don't necessarily have to answer that question now. Maybe you fans can put something in the comments to give your thoughts. We've had a number of men hold championships or hold the SHW championship specifically. But I don't recall, and I've seen quite a few Southern Honor champions, I do not recall a championship run that was filled with such great matches, filled with a champion that was in such great shape, that was as dominating, and that was as big of a fighting champion as Joe Black. So something to consider. I know the reign is not over yet, but it's often hard to measure history as it's happening. But I'll tell you, right now, this feels like we're in the greatest run of an SHW champion in history.
Well, Diana, you said who's next, who's next. Well, we found out who's next at the very end of the night because once the match was over and you thought all was said and done, well, here comes a man that we had seen earlier in the night, unexpectedly, that being Cutthroat himself, CT Keys, making his way to the ring because not only does he have Alex Kane on his mind, he's also got Joe Black on his mind and the Southern Honor Championship. And without missing a beat, although he had gotten battered up earlier in the night, that being Sal Rinauro, he made his way out there and said, no, whoa, 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 whoa. After the locker room had to hold CT back from getting into the ring, Sal Rinauro went ahead and just made the match official for June 6th. We'll see CT Keys challenging Joe Black for the Southern Honor Championship at SHW74. And boy, oh boy, can we not wait for that one. That's going to be an incredible main event matchup after what was already an incredible main event matchup last Friday. So to your point, GB, Joe Black just putting out incredible match after incredible match after incredible match in these title defenses. So very excited to see that. Is there anything else that I'm missing? I think that's how we wrapped it, right? With with Sal making that match announcement. So the whole night was just kind of all over the place. Like I said, with the ups and downs and the twists and turns and the feel good moments, and then the carpet ripped out from under you, and then the just really upsetting moments. So it was a very emotional night. And although we were not physically in the ring, we all felt pretty drained, I think, after that night, just because of the emotions and the back and forth. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was just another great example, and we tell you this every month, another great example as to why you need to be there and join us live in the Action Building to see these shows in person. We want you to go back and watch them on IWTV, but you got to come see them in person. So anything else for the fans before we wrap it up for the evening?
I think I'm good. I'll keep my mouth shut so nobody gets in trouble. I'll watch my words.
But for our sake, yeah.
But for our sake. Two quick things. Again, if you guys missed our show at the Action Building, we are officially 5 years old as a podcast. So congratulations to us. That's pretty amazing. And to commemorate that, you can, of course, head to prowrestlingtees.com/SHWpod and check out our merch there. We've got 2 great shirts commemorating this podcast. So you can go check them out, grab some shirts. Some of you may not have gotten the shirts as of yet because you may be new to the podcast, or you just may not have done it yet. Now's a great time to do it in honor of our 5-year anniversary. Again, prowrestlingtees.com/SHWpod.
Well, there you have it. Like I said, June 6th, it'll be here before you know it. SHW74. We will be back here on this podcast before then, though, as we start hearing the match announcements come out over the next couple of weeks, and we'll prepare you for that. GB.
One more thing, rest in peace to Sabu, who passed away earlier this week. An amazing wrestling legend, and quite frankly, the death matches and the hardcore things, so much of what we're seeing now would not have happened without most of our introduction to it by Sabu. So rest in peace to Sabu.
Absolutely, ECW legend. And it's crazy to think he just had his final match on WrestleMania
during
weekend.
WrestleMania weekend. Yeah.
What, 3 weeks ago, something like that? Man, crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yes, definitely rest in peace. And don't forget, on that deathmatch note, tomorrow night, the first ever deathmatch show, SVN Wrestling at the Action Building, the home of SHW. The Killbilly will be in action in tag team action along with Tank, taking on the Hate Club featuring Nick Gage. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be, you guys know what to expect when you come to Southern Honor Wrestling. Occasionally we'll have those, no holds barred matches or extreme rules matches, whatever you want to call them. So you had a little taste here and there at the SHW shows. Well, this one's going to be not for the weary. It's going to be interesting. So
yeah,
definitely want to check that out. But bell time is at 8:00. Doors open at 7. And go support our buddy, the Killbilly, Nathan Mowry. But until we talk to you guys next time, this has been
SHW.
This is our wrestling.